Coming of Christ, the rapture, and Armageddon. Those events have captivated Christians and non-Christians for nearly 2,000 years.
Well, now a group of Jewish and Gentile believers is reaching back to the ancient past for answers to our future. And what one pastor recently found is stirring debate and excitement all across the country when it all could happen. At the Beth David Messianic Synagogue in Fresno, the old ways come to life.
And as I started investigating the scriptures more deeply, I came upon scriptures in Jeremiah that told us we needed to get back to the ancient paths. And of course, Christianity comes right out of Judaism. So those are the ancient paths.
And to follow those ancient paths, about 125 members meet every Friday night at St. James Anglican Cathedral Community Hall in Fresno. There, they celebrate Shabbat, the Sabbath, at the time and in the manner, they say, God originally commanded in the Bible.
What the Messianic movement is Jews and Gentiles together worshiping the Messiah of Israel in a Hebraic way, with Davidic praise and worship as King David would have done, with flags and banners.
These believers in Jesus Christ are part of a fast-growing global movement who say it is the ancient ways, the historic biblical ways, that matter most. Not only because they were given by God himself in the Torah, but also because they foreshadow our future.
Well, it's very interesting because all of the, what we call them, Moedim, or appointed times.
Leviticus 23, I believe, is the most important, or I should say the most prophetic chapter in the entire Word of God, Leviticus 23. It tells us about the 7 festivals that Adonai has proclaimed to his people, and of course the Shabbat as well. This is a prophetic timetable of what God is going to do in these end times.
Now, using that prophetic timetable and modern science, another Messianic pastor says he's found something that could be a sign of things to come soon. February 20th, this year, on Temple Mount in Jerusalem, Pastor Mark Biltz of El Shaddai Ministries in Bonnie Lake, Washington, saw something. A total lunar eclipse, also called a blood moon, from its reddish hue.
I thought, wow, that looks just like what the Lord was talking about in the last days.
The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of the Lord come.
So I did a comparison. I went to NASA's website to see if there would be any total lunar eclipses or total solar eclipses in the next 10 years.
And what he found were 4 in a row.
To my surprise, in 2014 and 2015, NASA has what is called a tetrad. There are 4 total lunar eclipses back to back.
And 2 significant solar eclipses as well. In 2014, on March 20th to 21st, April 15th, and October 8th. And in 2015, on April 4th, September 13th, and September 28th. But it wasn't the number of eclipses that caught his attention. It was the dates on the Jewish calendar on which they fell.
There was a total lunar eclipse on the first day of Passover, and a total lunar eclipse on the first day of the Feast of Tabernacles again.
In both years, and
the Feast of Trumpets, there's a solar eclipse, and there's also a total solar eclipse beginning the religious year.
And the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. Revelation 6:12.
These kind of celestial phenomena are prophetically significant to Messianic believers, Bilt says, because
I see with what's going on in the world today, all the turmoil you see with earthquakes and famines and the hurricanes, everything going on, the floods. I think it's a wake-up call to both Jews and Christians that we need to be looking up and looking for the Messiah.
And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars. And upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Luke 21:25.
But we won't have to wait until 2015 to find out if what Pastor Biltz and his Messianic colleagues believes is true. We could all know, they say, in as little as 2 months. Now, tomorrow night, we'll take a scientific look at these eclipses to see just how special they are or are not. We'll also show you what that sign 2 months from now could be. And we'll reveal the Jewish holy day these believers say could signal the return of Jesus Christ and the start of Armageddon, the last war. For more on our special assignments, go to our website at kmph.com.